I never imagined quiet could press down on me like a weight. After I discovered my wife with someone else, silence became the only response I allowed myself. I didn't shout, smash objects, or demand answers. I simply left. I packed what I owned, took my savings, and removed myself from her life. I believed that my absence would be the loudest thing I could offer. She had sought thrill, novelty, and passion beyond our marriage, so I let her chase it while I stepped out of the picture. For 4 months I remained off the map. No calls, no messages, no pleas. I wanted her to feel what it meant to be wiped away. During those early months, I slowly put myself back together. I moved to a different city, started fresh work, and met people who knew nothing of my history. I never told them about the affair, about the nights I stared at the ceiling wondering where she was, or the mornings I woke to an empty bed. To them I was simply a man who had walked away from something broken. To me I was surviving. Whenever thoughts of her surfaced, I pictured her already having replaced me, perhaps not even remembering I existed. That idea stung, but I kept telling myself it was better this way. The worst moments were the late-night waves of loneliness. Small, everyday memories would surface. Her laugh when I tickled her ribs, how she'd sneak my fries even after insisting she wasn't hungry, and then reality would hit. She had betrayed me. Those recollections reminded me why I held my tongue. I refused to grant her the satisfaction of seeing how deeply she'd wounded me. My silence grew into a barrier between our worlds. Years moved on, and so did I. Life found a new rhythm. I wasn't wealthy, but I had steadiness. I wasn't elated, but I was free. Freedom became my most valued possession. I could sit in a cafe, meet strangers, laugh without guilt, and sleep without suspicion. Thoughts of her never vanished entirely. I assumed she had continued with the man she'd left me for. Maybe even married him, maybe had children. My silence meant I wouldn't know, and I convinced myself that I didn't care. Then one evening everything shifted. I was at a bar when 2 men behind me started talking loud enough to be heard. They mentioned her unmistakable name, and at first I thought I must be imagining things. Then one of them murmured, "Poor thing," and my heart lurched. They weren't speaking of some anonymous woman, they were describing my wife. I leaned forward under the pretense of sipping my drink and listened. They spoke of how she'd fallen apart after I left, how the man she ran off with abandoned her within weeks, and how she had been unraveling ever since. The more I heard, the more my years of silence returned to me like an answer. I had believed I was forgotten. Instead, I had become the shadow she couldn't shake. That night sleep eluded me. Old memories surged back, mingled with a surprising sense of vindication. My quiet had not been weakness, it had been a punishment sharper than any insult I might have hurled. She hadn't erased me, I had become the ache she couldn't escape, the mistake she could not undo. Curiosity eventually pulled me back to our old town. I hadn't intended to seek her out, but chance intervened. At the grocery store I saw her, thinner, older, with eyes that carried the weight of too many regrets. She spotted me and went pale. She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. The silence I had guarded for so long was now hers. I kept walking. I didn't stop, didn't smile, didn't call her name. I passed her frozen between the shelves, lips trembling as if 1,000 apologies were trapped there. In that moment everything became clear. My silence had said more than any confrontation ever could. She would not forget me, not because I begged her to stay, but because I left without a word. That, I realized, was the revenge I'd chosen.